morning everyone and welcome back to another reading vlog. Grab yourself a nice hot or cold beverage, some snacks to get cozy. I have a feeling it is probably going to be a longer video. But anyhow, I just filmed the wrap up for March and my other last update from my other reading vlog, which are all up on my channel already. So if you're interested, I'll put the links down in the description box down below. But that also means there hasn't really been happening a lot of things since my last reading update for my other reading vlog. I am still reading Angels and Demons, Dan Brown. All I did was just give myself a nice hot cup of coffee. So I haven't read any more pages of this one. Really enjoying it. Love being back in this book. Love being back in this series. My mom and I are rereading all the books, each month one, before the new release. I think it is in September, like when the new book is coming out from the Robert Langdon series. And yeah, this book has so much nostalgia to them for me that I love rereading them. And yeah, please do not pay attention to my horrendous annotations. Like right here, I can't find my little sticky notes. These were the littlest ones that I could find. I know they're somewhere, but I know I put them in a random box because they were one of the items that I forgot to pack earlier. So they were like laying around randomly on the table, and they were one of the last items I packed and I can't find the box, but I know it's somewhere in the house. But yeah, currently it's looking like this. And the other books I'm planning on reading during this reading vlog is Emily Wilde's Lost Companion. No, it's Emily Wilde's Companion of Lost Tales, I think, by Heather Fawcett. It's the last book in the Emily Wilde series. And yeah, I'm really sad and really happy to read them. Like, it's really conflicted. And another book I'm also talking about during this reading vlog is The Sunrise on the Reaping. And I'm so excited for this book. Like, I really have to finish this by tomorrow, because tomorrow Sunrise on the Reaping is coming in the mail. And I know that as soon as I unwrap that package, I am going to read it. Like, I'm really hyped for that one. That are all the books I'm planning on reading during this reading vlog. I'm going to show you guys around in my apartment while we are still unpacking all this stuff, putting things together like the bookshelves. We're going to do that during this reading vlog as well, so stay tuned for that. We're also doing some book shopping. I think it's going to be in this reading vlog or in the next one, not entirely sure, but you guys know from the title. Anyhow, but before we're going to do that, I have done some damage to my bank account because I've got one package over here, and then I also have this one. And these are my new books. Because I thought to myself, I do not have my bookshelves yet. I bought an extra one. I probably have enough room, so I bought more books. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening to me. But let's unwrap the packages together. And this one I'm going to unwrap first. I got this book simply because I saw... Now I can't remember the name from the YouTube channel. Put it down. I'll put it down in the screen. And she talks a lot about these books and she really enjoys them, and I figured I'll give it a go. It sounded interesting, and that is this one by India Holton. I never read anything by India Holton. The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love, I think it is. I love the cover. Like, look at the cover. It is so pretty. And the story sounded interesting to me, and because she really likes the stories as well, I figured I should give it a go. And she recently read the sequel, which is actually being released in just like a week on the 8th of April. I'm really excited to start reading this. It sounds like a perfect spring book, to be quite fair, so I can't wait to start reading this one. And then let's get to my big package that I have right here. It was already opened when it came in the mail. Oh dear. To be careful for my coffee. I did something. I talked about it before that I wanted to read this book series. Oh dear. And that I actually have read 3 books of this book series and I didn't really enjoy it. But I love everything else from this author. Like, she's one of my favorite authors. So I feel I should give this series another go. And they're very hard to get from the library because they're so popular. So many people want them from the library, so they're very hard to get. And they're like a lot of long waiting times, and I kind of want to read them back to back. That's kind of what I'm planning. And I'm not sure if it's going to happen this year. I really want to read them I just really have the urge, and I feel I should listen to that urge, because I'm a little bit scared that if I do not listen to the urge and I read them in a different time, I might not like them. But I've heard a couple of people talk about them, reading them for the first time or rereading them, and that's what got me interested. Oh yeah, they are. Ooh, they're nice. It's so heavy, but here they are. I bought the Throne of Glass box set. I did not plan on this, but it was in sale, so I feel that was a good enough excuse. Like, it was like 68 euros less than the normal price, so I felt that I was allowed to buy it. But I got a hardcover box set simply because I have Crescent City and A Court of Thorns and Roses in hardcover as well, so I felt that they should match my other books. But yeah, I read Assassin's Blade and I really enjoyed that one. Then I read Throne of Glass. I liked it, didn't really love it. Then I read the sequel, which is Crown of Midnight, and I DNF'd it. And now I have the box set. I'm not entirely sure if I'm doing something stupid right now. I might, but I have heard so many people loving this series more than the other series that I love from Sarah J. Maas. And I love Crescent City, I love A Court of Thorns and Roses. They're my favorite series of all time. And I feel I should give this a proper go. And as I said, the library is being a little bit more difficult to get them out of the library here. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to buy them. And also because it was on sale. So, a little book haul. Well, little, not so little. Completely depends. Like, I have only one series and one book. So, if you count them as one each, it's like 2 books. It's like a box set, so it's one box set and one book. But yes, this is my little book haul. And I'm really hoping you enjoy this vlog. I feel that the beginning of this vlog is already super chaotic. But anyhow, if you're new to the channel, hi, my name is Juliette. I talk about books each Saturday for you guys. So if you like the type of content, you can always hit the subscribe button. Further than that, there's going to be some b-roll for me right now, probably reading, unpacking stuff. And yeah, these books are not going to be read during this reading vlog. Yeah, I hope you're going to enjoy this reading vlog. I'm going to stop rambling now and see you guys in just a couple of seconds. Wednesday right now, and as you can see, I'm still working on my reorganization of my bookshelves. There's already like a video up on my channel where you can see like the full process, and I also take you guys along during the thought process as well, because to be quite fair, I started doing this yesterday and I definitely got overwhelmed by the end of the day, simply because it is a little bit different from my other 2 places where I live. Not only like the bookshelves are different, but also the way I put the bookshelves, because in my other 2 places where I lived, I always had like 2 bigger billy ones and then like one of the smaller ones in between, which was perfect for like the continuation of book series when it was like a little bit too long for one shelf, so you could take like a part of the tiny or the smaller shelf. So yeah, I'm kind of like struggling in how I want to put all my books on the shelves. And yeah, I don't know, I got so overwhelmed yesterday that I quit filming. I also quit organizing. I just put everything in front of the bookshelves, took everything out right now, and I'm going to continue as soon as I give you guys a little bit of reading update, because I have been reading as well a lot for the last couple of days, because I finished Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. This was a reread, so it's not the first time I read this book. I've watched the movie more than I read the book, I think, because there were definitely a couple of things that I forgot that happened in the book that are completely different from the movie. there are quite a lot of things taken out in the movie. So there are definitely a couple of things that I completely forgot about. But this is a reread, and there are a lot of other things as well that kind of like came back to me while I was reading it. I was like, oh yeah, I completely forgot about this. And yeah, I started slowly to remember certain things that were happening, but not everything. And I did really enjoy my reread. I especially like loved putting down my little notes because my mom and I are going to discuss this book probably somewhere next week, and I am just really stoked to see what her experience was while really reading this book as well, because she has read this a couple of times too. So yeah, I'm definitely curious to see how that discussion is going. And yeah, I had a lot of fun reading it. At the same time, I also realized that the middle part of this book is a tiny bit boring. There's quite a lot of information dumping. There's a lot of information given to you by Robert Langdon to a way of him telling to other characters from the book the information about things that happened in the past, about what certain symbols mean and everything like that. And there are definitely a couple of moments that I got a little bit bored, not with the part where Robert Langdon was telling his information, because that was quite interesting. But the book also is about the technology of, I'm not entirely sure what it's called in English, to be quite fair, because I've been reading it in Dutch. Well, CERN is involved as well, and there is this certain type of bomb that they accidentally made, or there's this like particle that they created. They kind of like recreated the start of Earth, like the Big Bang. And the information about that particle, I think it's called a particle, at least it's called a particle in Dutch, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm not sure if I'm just making the Dutch word sound English right now, but that thing is so explosive, and all the information that we got about this thing, I could personally care less, and it was a little bit too technical sometimes for me to really understand or wanting to understand it. But at the same time, like the thrill as soon as they are in Rome and as soon as they realize that certain cardinals are missing and they try to find them, when that journey starts, that adventure part is so extremely thrilling and so exciting, so scary and horrifying as well, that is absolutely my favorite part of this whole story. I love them trying to figure out all the clues, trying to get to these cardinals, trying to save their lives, failing a couple of times obviously, because otherwise you don't really have like a story, and then succeeding as well. And that was just that ride, that moment when that is starting, that was so, I just love that. And the twist at the end that this book was taking, this is completely different from the movie, by the way, but the twist that is happening at the end was just, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I was a little bit shocked because I kind of like forgot a couple of things, but not everything. Like the biggest twist at the end I still remember, because that's the same thing as in the movie, but there's another twist that they changed. Like they took a different character in the movie than they did in the book, because they left that character out in the movie, and that was just something that I completely forgot about. And that was really interesting and a lot of fun rereading it and rediscovering the whole twist, and the revelations at the end just really has me stoked to get into Da Vinci Code. Like Da Vinci Code is my all-time favorite. I've reread it so many times. I do not own it actually, so I definitely need to buy it before I am able to annotate everything. Like I bought this one as well. This one second hand. Couldn't get the Da Vinci Code, so I probably have to buy that one completely new, but we'll see. But anyhow, I also picked up, as you could see from some of the previous clips, a Sunrise on the Reaping. I have the Dutch edition here in my hands. I actually was a little bit conflicted because the English edition is a lot more expensive. Like I forgot to pre-order this book, which I have never done before. When it comes to Suzanne Collins, her works, I always pre-order them, but this time I forgot about it. And the price of the English new hardcover currently is a lot more expensive than the Dutch hardcovers. And I was so surprised about it, because it almost never happens that it is this way. Like the Dutch, one of the reasons why I read so much in English is simply because English published books, paperbacks, hardcovers are a lot cheaper compared to the Dutch translated editions. So I I bought this one in Dutch, which has me surprised because this is also the first time me reading Suzanne Collins her works in Dutch. And I'm actually really enjoying it. I like the translation and I'm enjoying it so much that I am even considering buying the other ones in this edition as well, because the edges of this book, like you saw it in the clip, it's so stunning, and all the editions have like different edges and stuff like that, and I really like the idea of having them in Dutch. And the special editions are not that expensive like compared to other special editions, so yeah. I also like something else. One of the reasons why I'm also thinking of rebuying the other books is that my collection of the Hunger Games series doesn't really match. First trilogy in paperbacks, and I have like the Battle of Songbirds and Snakes in a hardcover, which is a lot bigger, and now I have this one, which is actually smaller than the other hardcover but bigger than the paperbacks. And I kind of like my series to match. Just a little bit of a dilemma for myself, because rebuying all these books does take quite a lot of money too, even though they are not that expensive considering to other books, but at the same time I already have them, so do I rebuy them or not? Anyway, I am rambling, and you guys are here, not here for my thoughts about having to rebuy a book, yes or no. You're here because I read The Sunrise on the Reaping. I haven't finished it yet, but I am pretty far in, as you can see. Like, I'm using a picture of my old cat Minou. I miss her so extremely much. But I'm currently at chapter 8. Like, look at the, I really like this. But I'm currently at chapter 8, and this book, like, I have avoided so many reading vlogs, but at the same time on Instagram I saw some reactions of people posting that they cried a lot while reading this, that they were very emotional. And I was like, yeah, sure, you're emotional, it's in Hunger Games, why on earth are you emotional? You know what's gonna happen anyway. So, like, I do not get that emotional very quickly by a book, but this book, well, it hasn't made me cry yet. Like, not sniffing loudly cry, unless other people have, but I definitely got like watery eyes. I got my watery eyes while reading this, and I am shocked by the brutality of this story. Like, I know in the Battle of the Songbirds and Snakes, you have already like a lot of brutality to the Hunger Games. Like, the Hunger Games are brutal, but the way the tributes are treated before they go into the arena in the Battle of the Songbirds and Snakes is already different than we are used to from the Hunger Games trilogy, and it's already a lot more brutal. And this time around you kind of can see the difference. You can slowly see the way that they changed over a couple of years since Lucy Gray, I think her last name was, and Haymitch is now entering the arena. Like, the way the tributes are treated, it is still brutal, but they have like this room, they are in a hotel or an apartment, so they already get a little bit more luxury accommodations. They are treated a little bit better, but at the same time they are treated still like animals. They even kind of like call them their body parts as the way as you would call body parts from animals. So yeah, I'm shocked. I'm currently in awe and in shock about this book, and there are already 2 people, I think there were 2 people already dead. There are 2 people who died already, quite gruesomely as well. Other people already got hurt, and we are not even in the arena yet. Like, how crazy is this? It just feels really insane, and I'm a little bit scared of what's going to happen. Like, I know the outcome. Like, I've read Catching Fire, so I know the outcome of Haymitch's Hunger Games. Like, he's the survivor, obviously, otherwise he wouldn't be mentoring Katniss and Peeta. But at the same time, the way everything is going to happen in the arena, I think it's going to definitely have an emotional impact, because there are also a couple of characters we actually are meeting now that we have met before in Mockingjay. I think, oh, and Catching Fire, of course. We might meet them in Catching Fire, which I didn't even know that they were his mentor, which is crazy and a lot of fun. I really love that they included those characters. As you can hear, I'm trying to avoid as many spoilers as I can, because I didn't really want to know anything about this book either. So I'm trying to be as fake as possible, but at the same time I do hope like give enough information to make it a little bit entertaining, but I do not want to go into huge spoilers. But he has 2 mentors, and the mentors that are people we meet in Catching Fire, they also actually enter the arena over there, so there's a little bit of a hint for you guys. But yeah, I really love re-meeting them again, especially guiding Hamish. I can't wait to see more of that. And this book actually starts on Hamish's birthday, which is also the reaping day. So that sucks for him immensely. And then everything just goes completely wrong, and that's how he ends up being chosen as a tribute. And the whole race to that goes very, very quickly. I definitely love Suzanne Collins' writing style. She doesn't really beat on the bush. Kind of like goes. Like you start reading and you are on this train and we are not stopping until the end. That's kind of like how it feels, and I love this. And yeah, as you can hear, I'm really excited. I really want to go and organize my bookshelves now, because I want to continue reading this today. I'll probably give you guys a little bit of an update later. I definitely will try to do this, because this book had me in his grasp yesterday, because I only wanted to read like the first 2 chapters and then give you guys an update. And I ended up reading almost 132 pages. So yeah, it's insane, like this book. I decided to take my time reading Sunrise on the Reaping. First, I kind of want to completely binge read it and finish it in like 1 or 2 days. But I ended up kind of like taking my time, reading little snippets here and there. But most of the things I read yesterday, and I finished like 150 pages in 1 sitting, and then I was done with Sunrise on the Reaping. And first I want to film my initial reaction after closing up the book. But I had so many feels afterwards. I also felt a little bit conflicted about the end that I decided not to film. I just was completely inside of my head thinking about it, didn't really know how to really talk about it. So I ended up not doing it. Anyhow, I finished the Sunrise on the Reaping, and I must say that I think this is probably one, I'm not sure if it's my favorite. Like Catching Fire and this one are super close together, and I am not entirely sure, because I love Catching Fire so much. I probably have to do like a full reread of all the books before deciding which one is my favorite. But this is so close, like 5-star plus. I enjoyed this immensely. To start off, like if you love Hamish, and especially if you love Hunger Games and Catching Fire, like the first 2 books of the Hunger Games trilogy, I would highly suggest you would pick this up, because I think it definitely has kind of like the same vibes compared to Mockingjay or Ballad of the Songbirds and Snakes. Mockingjay, of course, is a little bit more pointed towards the war and the politics, and then you also have Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, where you kind of follow someone outside of the Hunger Games instead of someone who's actually inside of the Hunger Games. And I do feel that that is a completely different feel than what you have in the Hunger Games, Catching Fire, or the Sunrise on the Reaping. And I kind of feel that those 3 really kind of like have the same feel, the kind of same formula as well. And I just love being back. I love being back in this world. I love being back also at the same type of books like Hunger Games and Catching Fire. I really enjoyed Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. But at the same time, I so much love this more. Like, this was so much more enjoyable for me, because for starters, I really enjoyed Hamish. I love Hamish. He's like one of my favorite characters of the original Hunger Games trilogy. So the idea of following him throughout his journey, being a tribute, and his story was just, it was heartbreaking. It really was. It was very emotional. Like, we know the story of Hamish. We kind of, I think it's in Catching Fire when we see the first pieces and bits of the Hunger Games. I'm not sure if it's like Catching Fire or the first book that we get to know a little bit more of Hamish's background and especially his Hunger Games. But we know, of course, that he's alone and that he is kind of like shielding away from everyone around him, doesn't want to be close with anyone, drinks a lot, and is kind of like drunk most of the time simply so he can forget all the awful things that happened. And that's kind of the story that's been told here, all the awful things that happen. And it is just heartbreaking. From the start, the way he is chosen as a tribute is completely different and was a very big twist of how normal tributes are chosen. So that was something that I was like surprised about. And then the book starts, they go to the capital, and there they start becoming a tribute, and they all have to do like those tribute stuff. And then like the first parade that they have to go through is so, oh my gosh, that scene while I was reading, I had like my mouth hanging open. I was so shocked, so surprised, because at the same time, like in the original Hunger Games trilogy, we see that this whole Hunger Games, all the tributes are treated as celebrities. It's like this huge game, everyone is a big fan of it, and it is treated with so much entertainment and so much glamour and joy. And then we see the Battle of Songbirds and Snakes, and we see how the first Hunger Games are, and the tributes are treated like animals. They are actually locked up in the zoo. And here we kind of see the little bit of a development from the 10th Hunger Games to the 50th Hunger Games, which is Hamish's game. And we definitely see like the development in how they treat the tributes, how everything is kind of like become more different and slowly becoming a little bit more like we remember from the Hunger Games. But at the same time, it's not still there yet. It's not the same. Hamish is not treated the same way as Katniss and Peeta is. So there's so much difference and so many similarities at the same time. What was personally, I just felt it was very mesmerizing and very interesting to see, and the tributes you get to know as well. Personally, when I started reading this book, I was like, well, it's not going to be that emotional because you know who's going to win. Like, it's no surprise that Hamish will win because he's in the first trilogy that is actually like 25 years after this one, so of course he wins. But and we also know, because I think of Catching Fire, we also know a little bit of how, but we do not know everything. We do not know the little details. And something that I was very surprised about is the way Suzanne Collins makes sure that you care for all the tributes, that you care for all the characters that are put inside of here. And then of course we also get to meet a couple of other favorite characters that we got to meet in Catching Fire, and I was so happy to see them back. And I was also so heartbroken by the way they were treated in this book and how their story is involved in Hamish's story. And I don't know, it's just, if you are a fan of the Hunger Games, you should read this because this is perfect. Especially if you did not enjoy the Battle of Songbirds and Snakes, completely forget about that one and just read this because you'll definitely enjoy this one a lot more. And yeah, I was so surprised. There were so many deaths that definitely made me tear up and almost cry. There was like one death with scrolls involved, and I'm not going to mention like names, but there's like one death with scrolls involved, and that death made me actually cry. And I was a little bit surprised about it because I normally don't really cry that easily about a book. But I really cried, and it was really heartbreaking. And he also had like this death with birds, and then the one with the flowers that definitely got me very tear up. And then we get, of course, back in District 12 at the end of the book. And I have to mention that the death happening in that one was kind of one of the reasons why I was a little bit conflicted about it yesterday after finishing it. Because I don't know, the way the tributes died, I expected those people to die a little bit more of a bang, a little bit more shocking. But at the same time, after, well, letting it sink in overnight, and I was thinking about it when I was driving to work this morning, I also realized that it was kind of like the perfect death, because it kind of helps Hamish feel extremely guilty. And yeah, it's perfect for his characterization as we get to know him in the Hunger Games. So yeah, I still think if I look back right now, I do think that my initial thoughts about them not dying spectacular enough probably had to do with the fact that I was still a little bit more in the arena and I kind of wanted them to die a little bit more horrific. but at the same time, still their deaths were quite gruesome and they still die, and that's kind of like more of the point. They die in a way that it really hurts Hamish even more than the deaths that happened in the arena. And yeah, it is really shocking. I love the epilogue as well. I loved him looking back when he's older on his life. That was something that I enjoyed. And I just really enjoyed being with Hamish on his journey. And personally, Suzanne Collins, please keep on writing. Like, give me a book about each games for all I care. Especially the games from the people that we got to know in Catching Fire. Like, I would love to have Max, her story. Or Finnick, of course. Even Annie's or Joanna. Like, I want them all. Even Riley's. Her arena sounded insane. I would love to see that on screen. And yeah, I think it is phenomenally written, and I'm not sure, like, this might be my favorite book of the year. I do, however, feel that all the tributes of District 12 are kind of like done right now. So I do have a feeling that if she's going to write another book, it is probably going to be about someone from a different district. That actually has me even more hyped up, because even though I love being back at District 12 and I have like all the familiar surroundings, I'm also super interested to see how the other districts are. And yeah, so that's one book done of a series that I love, and that means we're starting with the last book for this reading vlog, and that's Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Hills. And to be fair, I'm a little bit nervous because I loved Sunrise on the Reaping so much. This has to live up its hype. Like, I love this series a lot, and I really hope that I will give this a 5-star as well. So we're going to start this one today. I am not going to start it straight away because I want to clean up a couple of things. Like, I want to decorate a little bit for Easter. So that's what I'm gonna do first, and after that, it is time to read. Reading Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Hills, and I'm enjoying it so far. It has definitely a different feeling than the first two books. At the same time, it still feels cozy, but there is talks about politics, about war. Wendell and Emily finally were able to reach Wendell's realm. They're going to take back Wendell's throne. To put him on the throne, that means war. And there's already been like a fighting scene with Wendell and his uncle, and I enjoyed reading that, to be quite fair. I love seeing Wendell's power grow during this book as well. I just reached page 80, so I'm not that far in, but I'm enjoying it so far. I especially love the presence of the animal companions, Shadow and Orga. I feel that they are quite vital to certain moments at the beginning of the book. That is something that I'm really enjoying so far. And I love just Emily and Wendell's banter. I love just to see how they kind of like were able to get this army, and they're going to get his throne back. And I don't know, I really hope they're able to keep his throne, because there's also some talks about scheming and maybe even like a bigger war and bigger fight. So I'm a little bit afraid if there's going to be any deaths. There might be, because if you have like war, you have casualties, and I'm a little bit afraid to see if those casualties will be like one of my favorite characters. I really hope it won't, but at the same time, could be. But I'm hoping to keep this coziness in this book as well, and then that means there should not be any death, right? At least that's what I'm hoping. Anyhow, I'm not going to finish this book during this reading vlog, as you might guess, since this is like the last update. I'm really sorry for that, but I was just not able to read a lot last week. I'm still unpacking, and I really want to get everything done today. So I just am behind my reading. Like, I probably overestimated the time I had to read the last couple of weeks, and I feel that this reading vlog, filming at least this reading vlog, is taking me way too long, and I kind of want to start another one because that was like in the plans, and I need to start that one today. And so this one will be filmed in that other reading vlog as well, so if you want to know more inner thoughts, then stay tuned for that reading vlog. When it's coming out, I'm not entirely sure. It's going to be like an extra video, but it's definitely coming out somewhere in the next 2 weeks. And yeah, I just will finish that one in the other reading vlog. So my little reading wrap up for this reading vlog. I finished Dan Brown's Angels and Demons, which was definitely, I feel, a 4-star. Really enjoyed rereading this book. I can't wait. I still have to discuss this one with my mom. I still haven't. We are going to do this in the plane when we're flying to Athens. And yeah, I just enjoyed reading this so much. I really can't wait to continue this series. I just had a lot of fun. Then I also started and finished Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This is like a 5-star plus. I enjoyed this so much. It was nostalgic, it was emotional, and it was really brutal as well, and I had a lot of fun being back at Panem, being with Hamish this time, and I really enjoyed to see his story develop and his games, so I had a lot of fun reading this book. And yeah, a 5-star plus. Highly recommend this book if you especially enjoyed The Hunger Games or Catching Fire, then I really suggest you pick this one up. And of course, I started reading Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales, and this is still my current read, so I haven't finished this one. So yeah, that's kind of like my little wrap up for this reading vlog. I feel I was able to read quite a lot during this reading vlog, at least not as much as I hoped, but still a pretty good amount, especially with how many things are going on at the same time as well. So I really hope you enjoyed this reading vlog, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know in the comment section down below what your current read is and if you read any of these books and what your thoughts are on these books. So see you guys again in the very next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.